Hello, Michael here, looking today at Psalm 60, specifically verse 5 through to 7 for the exposition. This psalm, which is subtitled, He Will Tread Down Our Foes. Let's go ahead and read verse 5 through to 7 then. Verse 5, That thy beloved may be delivered, saved with thy right hand, and hear me. Verse 6, God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. And verse 7, Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. And so we turn to the treasury of David for the exposition. Verse 5, That thy beloved may be delivered. David was the Lord's beloved. His name signifies dear or beloved. And there was in Israel a remnant according to the election of grace, who were the beloved of the Lord. For their sakes the Lord wrought great marvels, and he had an eye to them in all his mighty acts. God's beloved are the inner seed, for whose sake he preserves the entire nation, which acts as a husk to the vital part. This is the main design of providence, that thy beloved may be delivered. If it were not for their sakes, he would neither give a banner nor send victory to it. Save with thy right hand, and hear me. Save at once, before the prayer is over. The case is desperate unless there be immediate salvation. Tarry not, O Lord, till I have done pleading. Save first and hear afterwards. The salvation must be a right royal and eminent one, such as only the omnipotent hand of God linked with his dexterous wisdom can achieve. Urgent distress puts men upon pressing and bold petitions such as this. We may by faith ask for and expect that our extremity will be God's opportunity. Special and memorable deliverances will be wrought out when dire calamities appears to be imminent. Here is one suppliant for many, even as in the case of our Lord's intercession for his saints. He, the Lord's David, pleads for the rest of the beloved, beloved and accepted in him, the chief beloved. He seeks salvation as though it were for himself, but his eye is ever upon all those who are one with him in the Father's love. When divine interposition is necessary for the rescue of the elect, it must occur, for the first and greatest necessity of providence is the honor of God and the salvation of his chosen. This is fixed fate, the center of the immutable decree, the inmost thought of the unchangeable Jehovah. Verse 6, that reads, God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice, I will divide Shechem, and mete out the valley of Succoth. God hath spoken in his holiness. Faith is never happier than when it can fall back upon the promise of God. She sets this over against all discouraging circumstances. Let outward providences say what they will. The voice of a faithful God drowns every sound of tear. God had promised Israel victory, and David the kingdom. The holiness of God secured the fulfillment of his own covenant, and therefore the king spake confidently. The goodly land had been secured to the tribes by the promise made to Abraham, and that divine grant was an abundantly sufficient warrant for the belief that Israel's arm would be successful in battle. Believer, make good use of this, and banish doubts while promises remain. I will rejoice, or I will triumph. Faith regards a promise not as fiction but fact, and therefore drinks in joy from it and grasps victory by it. God hath spoken, I will rejoice. Here is a fit motto for every soldier of the cross. I will divide Shechem. As a victor, David would allot the conquered territory to those to whom God had given it by lot. Shechem was an important portion of the country, which as yet had not yielded to his government. But he saw that by Jehovah's help it would be, and it indeed were all his own. Faith divides the spoil. She is sure of what God has promised, and enters at once into possession, and mete out the valley of Succoth. As the east, so the west of Jordan should be allotted to the proper persons. Enemies should be expelled, and the landmarks of peaceful ownership set up. Where Jacob had pitched his tent, there his rightful heirs should till the soil. When God has spoken, his divine shall, our I will, becomes no idle boast, but the fit echo of the Lord's decree. Believer, up and take possession of covenant mercies. Divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Let not Canaanish doubts and legalism keep thee out of thy inheritance of grace. Live up to thy privileges. Take the good which God provides thee. And verse 7 that reads, Gilead is mine and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. Judah is my lawgiver. And he pens, Gilead is mine and Manasseh is mine. He claims the whole land on account of the promise. Two other great divisions of the country he mentions, evidently delighting to survey the goodly land which the Lord had given him. All things are ours, whether things present or things to come. No mean portion belongs to the believer, and let him not think meanly of it. No enemy shall withhold from true faith what God has given her, for grace makes her mighty to wrest it from the foe. Life is mine, death is mine, for Christ is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of mine head. All the military power of the valiant tribe was at the command of David, and he praises God for it. God will bow to the accomplishments of his purposes, all the valor of men. The church may cry, the prowess of armies is mine. God will overrule all their achievements for the progress of his cause. Judah is my lawgiver. There the civil power was concentrated. The king, being of that tribe, sent forth his law out of her midst. We know no lawgiver but the king, who came out of Judah. To all the claims of Rome or Oxford or the councils of men, we pay no attention. We are free from all other ecclesiastical rule but that of Christ. But we yield joyful obedience to him. Judah is my lawgiver. Amid distractions, it is a great thing to have good and sound legislation. It was a balm for Israel's wounds. It is our joy in the Church of Christ. Yes, God is well implemented and organized to take care of our sovereign establishment. Trust you enjoyed the meditation. Michael here declaring yet again, Jesus is Lord. Until next time, be blessed.